Hi, my name's Keith Cooper from Northlight Images. This is another in a series of videos looking at the basic problem of your prints coming out too dark. Now, I did a video a few days ago looking at using light measures, a light meter like this to measure lighting for stuff, but right up front, the most common reason for prints coming out too dark is that your monitor is too bright. Now, over the years, that has been the number one reason why people's prints come out too dark. If your monitor's too bright, you edit it on your monitor. When you print, everything is darker. So that's where it comes out. But it can be much more complicated than that, and I'm looking at some of the other aspects of it. Now, the other day I looked at using a meter like this to check your lighting levels. Now, if I use this, and this is a less than £15 meter, I picked up, it's a model S8608. It measures illuminance values in lux it gives you. It's an incident light meter, so it's not like light meters you might have used for photography years ago where you point them at things. This one measures the light falling on this sensor. Because it's the design of the sensor here, it's more reliable than many apps you get on phones and things. You can get apps on phones, but you don't know how well they're working. Now, this one here is measuring the illuminance. Now, I've got a light here, an Ilfolux. This is set at 4000K, the color temperature of it, mainly because everything around here is all set at 4K. That gives a consistent lighting for the videos. I would normally work in slightly cooler lighting, perhaps D50, 5600, more daylight looking. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. The video shows everything looking correct, and that's one of the reasons I shoot it. Now, I've got this, and when you're using these meters, bear in mind that it's measuring light from everywhere it's getting. So although I'm nominally measuring the light coming from this lamp here, I've got some lights up here, I've got a much brighter light over here. So all of that light is falling on this, and this tells me that on this surface, the illuminance is about 450 lux. Now, it's a little on the bright side I'd use for normal print evaluation. If you're doing this commercially, incidentally, your lighting levels are typically much higher. If you're using a viewing box or something like that, typically your lighting levels will be over 2000 or something, so it makes quite a difference. Now, this is about black and white. As I put a link to the video I did the other day that discusses this device and various other things, but I'm looking at how to make sure your black and white prints come out okay. First of all, let's just switch this off, cover it up, keep the dust off it. This is a test image. This side here is a black and white test image I produced 20 years ago to have a special black and white test image that I could use. I could print this and use it to evaluate my images. Now, there are articles, and I'll put links to this. It's available as a free download. There are articles on how to use it. There are several different versions which have different versions of the grayscale wedge at the top here for making actual measurements of it. This is one that you can use with a spectrophotometer, and you can get actual readings from this. There are ones with different size patches. There are ones which can be read in my automated reader as well. But the key to it are the pictures. The whole idea is this covers the full range of black to white that the printer can manage. Now, it doesn't matter how you printed it. You print it your normal way of printing black and white. These and these other examples I've got here, which I'll come back to in a moment, were printed on this Canon Pro 310. In this, I'm using the black and white print mode. Now, these are printed on Canon papers, so it works particularly well. So I've got this image here. The real giveaway for print quality is this little bullseye, but if you're curious about using this to evaluate print quality, have a look at the articles I've got linked. It goes into the reasons for all these different sections in it. But I mentioned about prints coming out too dark. Now, take this test print around different parts of our house where lighting levels can be quite a bit lower. Certainly down in corridors, even with the lights on, the lighting levels are around about 100, 120. At those light levels, your visual system sees things differently. And for colour, you tend to lose colour quality. Black and white, it brings up the shadows. So this is meant to be printed. It's meant to be viewed in lighting like this or slightly brighter. And the key elements of this, and as I say, it's in the article if you have a look, are this spit of land where you should be able to see detail. And on this particular picture at the bottom here, which was from one I took in Colorado a few years ago, you should be able to read the copyright and my name on it. This is about shadow detail. It's about whether things are too bright. This is about getting the print to work okay. But I'm more interested in this instance, because I know this print's okay. I'm more interested in how does this print look under different lighting conditions. Now, this particular version I've got, and you know, this is freely downloadable. If you want to create a larger image, find another black and white image that you want to test with it and put it with this on the same sheet, on the same image, and print them together. So by looking at this, I can tell that the printer is working right. The black and white, spot on. That means that this picture should be printed okay as well. So there's no problem in the printing. When I look at this image, in this particular one, there is some brickwork underneath one of the arches here, and that brickwork should be clearly visible. Similarly, as there should be detail visible in these images here on the test image. So putting the two together, this bit tells me the printer is working fine. This bit is an image of mine that I want to evaluate. So I know that looks great. If I wanted a nearly black image, this would be a nearly black image. But I've got this next to it that tells me everything is fine. So I can now take this print round different parts of the house, put it on the wall and think, under the lighting I've got, this is a little bit too dark. Now, I should be able to see that from this as well, but this is just easier to see because this is the image I want to print. Pick one that works for you. If you've got a light image, you print a light image here. But it's the fact that you've got the two next to each other. This is the bit that tells you everything is printed okay. This is the one you want to see what it looks like. So if I take this downstairs, and let's say I wanted a print of this on the wall downstairs in one of the corridors. Looking at that, and I can't really duplicate that here because the way video works and things like that, I can't really show you the effects too much of it looking wrong. But if I put this on the wall downstairs, this looks too dark. That means I need to apply an adjustment to it. The simplest one I do it in Photoshop is to apply an adjustment curve and just raise the midpoint slightly. I can't make the blacks blacker, the white's whiter. The white is limited by the paper. This is Fine Art Smooth paper, Premium Fine Art Smooth. This is a Canon paper. So I can't change the darkest black. I can't change the lightest white on it because that's paper white. I've got the image. So I can take this around and I can go down. I put it in the wall, again on the wall, and say, well, this is too dark. I need to alter it to print it so that where I'm going to put it, it looks okay. Now, if you don't know where it's going to go, just rely on the fact that you're going to have good enough lighting for it, and as I've got here, and go, well, that print looks okay as I want it here. Now, this is the print that is done to your taste. This is the one that you adjust however much you like. You don't ever adjust this one. You print this as is. Now, you can, if you're careful, print this, apply a curve to it, and use that for adjustments, but do make sure you write on it that it's an adjusted one. Really, this is the one that I want to look at. Now, so that's on that paper. That's one thing. What about different papers? Does it make much of a difference? Not as much as you might think. Depends on the image and the style of the image. But here is the same image printed on, this one is the Platinum Gloss, Pro Platinum Gloss, another Canon paper printed on this is Pro 310. This image does look a little cooler than this one. I will check on when I do the videos to see if it looks much different. But once again, it looks absolutely fine because all the detail I want to see is here. I know from this picture here that that is spot on. I then take this one round, and in fact, if I put both of them on the wall downstairs, I can see how they differ, because this one has darker blacks than this one. Not a great deal, but it does have darker blacks. Once again, may not be entirely visible, but the dynamic range of this one is more than this one. So that's between a glossy paper and a matte fine art paper. Now, this one's got optical brighteners in it, this one hasn't. So the paper itself looks slightly bluer, this one, than this one is a slightly cooler looking, slightly warmer looking paper. Just to add to the mix, here is a version of it printed on the Pro Luster paper. So we've now got a version printed on the gloss, version printed on luster, and a version printed on the art paper. Now, I could print this on anything I like. If I've got, let's say, 3 or 4 standard papers that I use, I print this on 3 or 4 standard papers, and I just take these around with me, and these tell me what my pictures are going to look like. Now, there is an element of experience in this. You need to be able to think, how does my image work on this? So try it with whatever images you like. If you have a particular style, put that image in there. If you do, say, portrait work, now I very rarely photograph people, but if you do portrait work, put one of your portrait images on the sheet with the test image like that. So that's an A3 sheet because the image is A4, double that is A3. It would work with a little bit of scaling if you wanted to put it on letter and super, all the other sizes that are available as well. But the whole idea of it, just to wrap it up, is that I have a known test print that looks good. I know that that's tested the printing. I then have the image that I'm interested in, and this is one that I know well. I've used this for printing for quite a few years, so I have an expectation of what it's going to look like. I view them under suitable lighting to see how they look, and then I just take them round and try them wherever I want. And if need be, if I'm doing a picture that's going to go in a particular place, if I take it, this is for one if I'm being paid for a large print and I know the place where it's going to go. If I think the lighting is unusual in any way, I will take something like this along with me, just to see what the lighting is when the print's going to be there. It also helps you decide, perhaps for your images, whether you like your image on a glossy paper, a luster paper, or a matte art paper. Now, in looking at this, my preference under this lighting is this one here, because, well, I like smooth art papers. I don't need really intense blacks. The Dmax of this one, for those interested in such numbers, and really they don't mean a great deal really, but this one is about 1.7. This one's probably about 2.5. So the blacks are much more noticeable on these two here. But of course, you've also got glossy reflection here, luster reflection here, no reflection here. And incidentally, I notice on this one here, this is on the Pro Luster, that the glancing angle of light, there is a little bit of bronzing on that. But luster papers are renowned for it, for showing up bronzing. There's virtually none on this, little bit on this, and obviously you don't get bronzing on matte papers like this. So I hope that's useful. Hope that helps people get a few better black and white prints. Remember, the main thing while your prints come out too dark is your monitor's too bright, but once you've set that up, you might want to investigate more things like that. And I'd say for less than £15, a light meter like this is very useful. It may even be pressed into service at some point when I have a go using this, the Caulfield WA67 medium format film camera, which I'm going to have a dabble with film again at some point. No, I'm not moving back to film, but just want to try something a bit different. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and bye.